Ladies and gentlemen, gather around your screens and prepare for a journey into the past as we delve into the rich and storied history of Mexico City. A city that stood tall, even before the arrival of the Europeans, a city that transformed over centuries into the bustling metropolis that it is today. So buckle up, amigos, as we embark on this journey through time, exploring the timeless saga of Mexico City. Now, let's set the stage. The year is 1325, and we find ourselves in the Valley of Mexico, home to the mighty Aztec Empire. The Aztecs, also known as the Mexica, were a group of Nahuatl-speaking people who dominated large parts of Mesoamerica. Their empire was built on alliances, trade, and of course, conquest. Legend has it that the Aztecs were guided to this very valley by their god Huitzilopochtli, who instructed them to search for an eagle devouring a snake on top of a cactus. And lo and behold, they found this very scene on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. They took this as a divine sign and decided to establish their great city right there, naming it Tenochtitlan. Now, if you're wondering what happened to that snake-eating eagle, you can still find it today on the Mexican flag. Talk about a timeless symbol. As time went by, Tenochtitlan grew to become one of the largest and most powerful cities in the world. Eat your heart out, Rome. To give you an idea of the scale, at its peak, it had a population of over 200,000 people. That's more than any European city at the time. And to make things even more impressive, the city was built on a series of artificial islands connected by a vast network of canals and causeways. They even had aqueducts to bring fresh water to the city. Who needs the Roman Empire anyway? The Aztecs ruled their empire from Tenochtitlan and collected tributes from the surrounding conquered regions. They built great temples, palaces, and markets in the city, making it a true jewel of the ancient world. But of course, every good story needs a plot twist. Enter the Spanish conquistadors, led by Hernán Cortés, who arrived in Mexico in 1519. With dreams of gold and glory, Cortés and his men had their sights set on the Aztec Empire. And as with any good drama, the plot thickens. The Spanish were not alone. They formed alliances with the Tlaxcalans and other indigenous groups who were not exactly fans of the Aztecs. You know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Or in this case, the enemy of the Aztecs is also the enemy of the Aztecs, but let's join forces anyway. Now, you might think that the Aztecs would have put up a good fight against the Spanish, but there's a twist. The Aztec emperor, Moctezuma II, believed that Cortés was the god Quetzalcoatl, who was prophesied to return from the east. Talk about a case of mistaken identity. This belief led the Aztecs to initially welcome the Spanish into their city with open arms. However, things quickly took a turn for the worse. In 1521, after a series of conflicts, betrayals, and a smallpox outbreak that devastated the Aztec population, Cortés and his army laid siege to Tenochtitlan. After a brutal battle, the once great city fell, and the Spanish began their conquest of Mexico. Cortés ordered the city to be destroyed, with only a few remnants of the Aztec architecture remaining today. But as we all know, history is a tale of resilience and rebirth. The Spanish built a new city on the ruins of Tenochtitlan, which they named Mexico City. It became the capital of the Viceroyalty of New Spain and the epicenter of Spanish colonization in the Americas. Over the next few centuries, Mexico City grew and evolved, absorbing various cultural influences and adapting to the changing tides of history. The Spanish brought their architectural styles, which can still be seen in the city's cathedrals, churches, and palaces. They also introduced new crops and animals, forever changing the landscape and diet of Mexico. But life under Spanish rule was not easy for the indigenous people and mestizos, those of mixed Spanish and indigenous heritage. The Spanish imposed heavy taxes, forced labor, and strict social hierarchies that favored those of pure Spanish blood. As you can imagine, this led to widespread discontent and calls for independence. Fast forward to the early 19th century, and the winds of revolution were blowing across the Americas. Inspired by the successful revolutions in the United States and France, Mexicans rose up against their Spanish rulers in a struggle for independence that lasted over a decade. Finally, in 1821, Mexico gained its independence from Spain, and Mexico City became the capital of the newly formed nation. The 19th century was a tumultuous time for the city, marked by political instability, foreign invasions, United States and France, and the Mexican Revolution in the early 20th century. Despite the challenges, Mexico City continued to grow and modernize. The city's architecture began to reflect an eclectic mix of styles, from neoclassical to Art Deco, and even modernist. And let's not forget the vibrant cultural scene that emerged during this time, with artists like Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, and David Alfaro Siqueiros leaving their mark on the city and the world. As the 20th century rolled on, Mexico City faced new challenges, including rapid population growth, environmental concerns, and a devastating earthquake in 1985. But in true Mexico City fashion, the city has continued to adapt and reinvent itself. Today, Mexico City stands as a sprawling metropolis of over 21 million people, a testament to its rich history and the resilience of its people. It's a place where ancient ruins coexist with modern skyscrapers, where mouth-watering street food can be found alongside world-renowned restaurants, and where history continues to unfold, one timeless saga at a time. So there you have it, folks, the fascinating story of Mexico City, from its humble beginnings as an island city and a lake to the bustling metropolis it is today. It's a city that has risen time and time again, proving that no matter what challenges it faces, the spirit of Mexico City will endure. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time, and remember to keep exploring the timeless sagas of our world. Until next time, adios, amigos.